Hello, everyone. It's Craig coming back at you with my fourth testosterone video. Um, First of all, I want to apologize to everyone who's asked me over the last year or more when I'm going to put another video out or asking me how I'm feeling and this and that. And um, I just didn't get to it. I would intend to, but I'm not really entirely comfortable with kind of putting myself out there on the internet, as you can probably tell. Um, so, but anyway, I did tell people I would, and I didn't get to it. Part of that is that I'm in a clinical grad school program, and that does take up a tremendous amount of time. So, but still, it's not an excuse, just a reason. So, hope I have your forgiveness. And I just want to let you know what's happened with me for the last couple of years. So the last video I made, I was seeing an endocrinologist, and the reason I was seeing him was because my primary care physician saw that my um, um, hemoglobin was going very high up. So he referred me to an endocrinologist. That was the guy I was seeing in my last video. So what happened with him, I said, I asked him on an appointment, I said, hey, doc, what numbers are we shooting for here? And he said, about 300. And I'm like, what? And that was the last appointment I had with him. Actually worked with a guy who had seen the same endocrinologist. Same story. So this guy walked away too. It's ridiculous. My experiences with the healthcare system have just been, what a nightmare. Anyway, it's just been just a bitch. It really has. But thankfully, I finally was able to get some help. But before we get to that, after the endocrinologist who thought 300 was a good number for a man's testosterone to be, I had my doctor refer me to another endocrinologist, and they gave me Clomid, which is a fertility drug that works for women and men. And the exact mechanism of action, I don't quite understand it, but it something like something to do with the pituitary gland and keeping estrogen from it, or it works with the pituitary gland to turn estrogen into testosterone. I probably got that totally off, but endocrinology is, well, it's just, I don't know that much about it. I've tried to keep myself somewhat educated, but I'm sure you guys know a lot more about this. Many of you do, or have probably forgotten more about this stuff than I know. So I was prescribed Clomid, 12.5 milligrams, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. After a couple of months, called the doctor and told them I'm experiencing no significant improvement. I was getting labs done through that doctor's office. And, well, for one thing, because of my insurance, it sucked at the time, I had to pay at times $700 just for labs to see that my testosterone was going up by about 7 points a month. Now, my last appointment with those folks, the doctor had a nurse practitioner, and she knew her stuff. She's nearing retirement, and she told me that I'd mentioned to her that I'd seen some articles some research articles that indicated that the rise in hemoglobin is directly proportional to the dosage of testosterone. And I said, hey, could we try maybe smaller dosages more frequently? This is the research I'm seeing. And she replied, well, then we'll just be seeing your testosterone increase by just little bits at a time. And I'm like, it's going up 7 points a month. I'll be 50 years old by the time at the rate we were going. And that's not even counting for the fact that my testosterone would decrease because of the increase in age. So that was my last appointment there. And then I got in contact with the endocrinologist, in Indianapolis. I live in West Central Indiana, and it's kind of common knowledge. If you've got any serious medical issues, you kind of have to go to Indianapolis. Seems to be a lot more expertise and competency there as far as the medical practices. So this doctor first had me see I think it was a pulmonologist to get a sleep study done, and that indicated that I had sleep apnea. So he wanted me to try a CPAP machine. The endocrinologist wanted me to try the CPAP machine, which I did. And the idea being that if you're not getting enough oxygen at night, your body kind of thinks that, your bone marrow will start to secrete more or create more red blood cells to compensate for the lack of oxygen not getting because of the apnea not allowing enough oxygen into the body. That's the thinking. And so I did that, and it didn't really help with the feelings of all the stuff that goes along with low testosterone. And if you're watching this, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's see what happened after that. So I stopped taking the Clomid, and my weight went up. Now I was weighing about 270 then, and I got up to 325. Had a hell of a time getting it back down. So during at a follow-up visit with the new endocrinologist in Indianapolis, I told him that, hey, I appreciate you taking the conservative route. It shows that you care, and I appreciate that. And I didn't even have to get another word out. He said, well, let's try testosterone injections. So what I'm on now is 100 milliliters every 7 days. And I have been for maybe 6 or 7 months. And that is making a big difference. It's before now, first of all, I don't feel that like testosterone, it's not all about hard-ons and muscle. But one thing I noticed when my testosterone was really low is that I didn't notice women. Like, I'm a single guy. I'm just normal thing, notice a woman. Oh, that's a pretty woman. No, when I looked at a woman, it was like looking at a photo of a woman. And I was depressed as hell. I got a few things written down here. The weight gain, that just in the difficulty getting that weight off, that was that was just challenging. The depression was worsening. I just felt hollowed out. I didn't feel like not only not feel like a man, I didn't really feel like a human being. I felt two-dimensional, and couldn't think clearly. All the things that go along with low testosterone. So now getting the weight back off, weighing about 290. My clothes are fitting better. So I think I attribute that to gaining some muscle mass again, because I do work out. Prior to being on the testosterone, it was very difficult to work out for any substantial period of time. And I'm not one to spend an hour and a half or 2 hours in the gym anyway, but it was just like, I was so lethargic. Just getting there was an accomplishment. But now it's really feeling, I enjoy the resistance and the effort. So that's a huge swing. I don't know what my current testosterone numbers are. I have labs in January, so we'll see. Now, as far as the issue with the hemoglobin, I'm going to donate blood. I haven't done that yet, but just to be sure, I really don't want anything coming between me and feeling healthy again. And so by donating blood can help to decrease the overall blood volume. And so for one thing, for my own health, because that can be, from the research I did, a pretty gnarly experience. Can kill people because the blood thickens, viscosity is too thick to deliver oxygen to a lot of really crucial tissue areas and major organs, so organ failure and that kind of thing. So not so great outcomes if that's not treated. So I do plan to donate blood, and hopefully my levels in like January when I have my next labs will be good. So there's a few things that I've learned through this, and I'm just throwing this out there. And I'm not a medical expert, and this is not medical advice. I'm just sharing with you my own subjective experience. Um, is advocate for yourself. Um, I think a lot of people are afraid to confront doctors, and because the power differential. But really, you have to. In our healthcare system, especially as the baby boomers are aging out and physicians are so busy. I mean, it's like, you and I, if you have an endocrinologist, you only have one endocrinologist. That endocrinologist has hundreds of patients. So you've got to advocate for yourself. And don't give up. It's what's one thing that's very clear to me is that even if someone's a specialist, um, that doesn't mean that they are necessarily competent in with the latest information and research. The first doctor that I saw that thought 300 was okay, he's like near retirement. Um, and the second doctor that I saw that put me on Clomid, I thought, well, this guy's closer to my age, so maybe he'll get on board. But he wanted to go with the Clomid because he thought endogenously correcting the testosterone deficiency would be better than exogenous through shots or gel or something like that. And which I appreciated that, but it was like, meanwhile, my life is ticking by, and I'm feeling like horse shit the whole time. And so, don't give up. You got to take care of yourself, and we just the healthcare system it can be a nightmare. And so and shop around, just make sure that the best of your ability, that because I think again it can be intimidating to talk to a specialist or to a doctor at all, much less assert your need for help. Because when the specialist isn't giving you the help that you need, at least in my example or in my situation, it just felt crushing. It's like, if these guys aren't going to help me, what can I do? And I have looked at some natural remedies, that kind of thing, but I really don't want to mess with that. I just want to live my life and be healthy and happy. Testosterone is like the elixir of life for men. It's, the benefits besides just sexual arousal and physical stamina, weight loss, and it acts as a kind of a systemic anti-inflammatory drug. And or not drug, but substance. I've had a couple of spine surgeries, so I'm in experience pain at a certain level most of the time. But since I've been on the shots, I've noticed that, especially in my hips where I have arthritis, that pain it's still there, but it's far less noticeable than it used to be. So anyway, like I said, this is just my experience, but I found that Clomid didn't work, the CPAP didn't work, testosterone works. So I hope you guys can somehow benefit from this rambling, poorly executed eloquence here. But anyway, I just wanted to take the time to let everyone know what my experience has been up till now. And I'll keep everyone abreast of kind of what happens when I get my labs done. So I think that's about it for now. So, yeah, That's it. All right. You guys take care of yourselves.